Hey, everybody.
Everybody's just on.
Oh, okay. Who's that over there? All right, guys. So it's Jonathan and Rachel. We're talking about a couple books here we've read. We've got Absolute Power, that'd be number 1, Batman and Robin, number 12, and Adventures, My Adventures with Superman, number 3. Let's go ahead and start off with My Adventures with Superman, number 3. Got a cool manga style cover showing off Superman's blue power. So when last we left our heroes, Superman was in jail. I should say Clark Kent.
It was definitely Clark Kent.
Yeah. That's what everyone thinks.
He got cuffed.
He got cuffed. He got in trouble with the government. And so there's this kind of funny opening scene where he's been interrogated.
He thought he got made.
Yep. He's, oh, no.
Quite.
I guess that's the secret with Clark Kent / Superman. No one suspects that mild-mannered Clark Kent could ever be Superman. So that's how the ruse works, right? And then we cut to Jimmy and Lois at it's Jimmy's place, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy's apartment.
And they have their android friend, Amazo.
It turns out it's not very easy to hide a Mazo.
Yes. And I can't remember off the top of my head how the regular DC version of Amazo is, but this one is like this, basically just some sort of alien android that the government's trying to turn into a weapon. So
he's like a baby.
He doesn't know what's going on. So that's funny. So we get shenanigans. I did like it. I did this here though, where Clark shows up and they're like, basically like, yeah, you were in prison when he said that the government doesn't know how to hold Superman yet.
It's not Superman proof. They're coming for him so he can run back.
Yep.
Just in the nick of time. How convenient is that?
How convenient.
But one thing he wasn't prepared for is Ma and Pa.
Yep. Yeah, look up. One's got a I Heart Metropolis, and one has I Heart Superman shirt.
Yeah, it's not very incognito. I'll tell you, if you're trying to slip in, yeah, they're really going to stand out.
So they check in on Clark, and he's all sweaty. What are you doing? Oh, do cardio.
Can keep an eye on him. Well, the whole usual thing that they like to do. But what they don't know is that he hears all their plans. So he knows what they're looking for and what they're going to do. But the bigger problem is they're still looking for the robot.
Yep. We're looking for Amazo. That's interesting because, yeah, this, of course, is like early Superman. So even Superman's, I want to say, like adversaries, you could say, they're not used to Superman either. So they don't know all the things they might want to take precaution. Oh, he can hear from way far away. In the regular DC, which we'll get to, I think, with Absolute Power, Superman's adversaries, they all know everything about him over the years. They know about kryptonite. They know about his abilities, and they've studied them, and they have ways of counteracting.
They know his strengths and his weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly.
But they know what this robot powers are, so they know what to look for.
Yep.
But it's just in the nick of time. Away they fly.
Yeah.
And they think that they are going to the best place that they can hide them, which is where, John?
They had that little science facility that has the strange monkey and the robot with the brain. I can't remember their names off my head.
Yeah, and it says the name.
Oh, Cadmus. Yeah, Cadmus. Yeah, Cadmus.
Right. But little do they know who's watching.
Of course, Amanda. And she's got her minions. They're gonna send after him. This is next Android on the Run. Yeah. So what do you think about this issue, Rachel?
I was just in shock and awe. know that any of that was going to happen. I liked it. It was cute.
Yeah.
It kept exactly within the style of, just like we've talked about with the show, like another episode. So it was very nice. Artwork is on par. Coloring is right there with it too. So it's nice to have that consistency in as a complete package.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, it's still, we talked about the last time we talked about this book and all the, positives of it. And if you like the animated series, My Adventures of Superman, then you're probably going to like the comic. That's just the bottom line. And again, this takes place between seasons 1 and 2. And of course, I think they're doing a season 3. But in the meantime, until there's more animated My Adventures of Superman, then you have the comic to tide you over. Yeah, so not much else to say about that. So definitely still consistent with previous issues.
Yeah, nice story.
Very good. All right, so that was My Adventures of Superman number 3.
No, mine.
No, it's mine. Mine.
My Adventures.
Then we got Batman and Robin number 12. And so Batman and Robin, last we left them, were on the Dinosaur Island, which I did not know there was a Dinosaur Island in DC Universe, but
you can just create one apparently. And so it's a place where the dinosaurs can live and be free and happy. I thought that was Jurassic Park, but apparently it's called Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. His idea is basically feels like it's Jurassic Park, but cross Batman. Yeah, why not? I will. One thing right off the bat, I will say is I really like the artist on this storyline so far. Very dynamic panels. The way he draws the characters is very expressive and just imaginative too. Just unusual panel layouts, which I appreciate. Now, sometimes it can get a little overkill when people do stuff like this. I think this artist, for the most part, is keeping things balanced. What do you think about that, Rich? My statement. Do you agree?
This particular one was different than the previous one. I thought it took me a second. It did, because if you've heard, I'm not a fan of the back and forth.
Oh, with this, because it has the flashbacks.
It's not my most favorite, but once I realized what was happening, then I actually liked the way that this one was done. And so for me to say that is something, because I don't like the time jumps, but I liked the way that it was done and it made sense.
Yeah.
And so I liked the way that story was told. The artwork was definitely exaggerative, if that's the right word, at times. A little bit more than maybe I care for, but I know that's the style. And that's what's appreciated for this type of artwork. But it's definitely all about Robin and Bane in this one.
Yeah, so Bane killed Alfred. And I don't even know. I don't think we were collecting comics at that time, so I'm not even sure exactly why he did. But it doesn't really matter because Robin obviously is upset about that. And as you mentioned, the flashbacks that go back, and each flashback is built on each other. And when you get to the end, you really see exactly what Alfred meant to Robin, in this case, Damian, why he wants vengeance for him. Yeah, I did find it interesting too. Think about the art though. I double checked, and what's interesting is the flashbacks, it's the same artist.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, because the flashbacks are very controlled.
Demure.
Yeah. And in very, you could say, almost traditional comic style. And then when you have the arc with present day with the story, like you said, they're very much more dynamic and more exaggerated, not quite cartoony, but definitely more over the top. And hey, we're on a dinosaur planet, so I guess that's just what you do, right?
It's like, you should name it Bane Island
Bane
instead
Island, yeah.
of Dinosaur Island now, because I think we see a whole lot more of Bane than we do
That's
dinosaurs.
true. But yeah, no, I think it was interesting. Yeah, the flashbacks worked. I had a nice little twist at the end. I won't spoil it, but Damien and Bane may be more similar than they might think, or you might think, in some ways.
It might become more similar.
That's true. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely been okay. So liking this new story arc, and I like I said, I really like the artist, which is get the artist name here. It's writers Joshua Williamson, and Juan Ferreira is the artist and colorist. So he's basically doing it all, which is really cool. I always appreciate that.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah. Yeah, very good. Of course, we got a silly cover on the front. Yes. Batman and Robin as archaeologists.
The alternate.
Yeah, alternate cover, yeah. Yeah, good time. This is Batman and Robin, number 12. Good stuff. Continue on. It's got dinosaurs. You like some dinosaurs. Got lots of Bane, like you said. Lots of Bane, lots of Robin. Mostly Bane and Robin. We're working stuff out.
But definitely, yeah, it's been consistent with the stories, and they can just keep on hitting it.
All right. So this is the last book we're talking about today. This is Absolute Power number 1. And this is the big DC event of the summer. And Mark Waid and Dan Mora are principal creatives on this one. Yeah. So this has been out for a little while. So I think we'll go ahead and spoil it because it has been. Issue 2's out. I've been out for a little bit. In fact, issue 2, I couldn't get it at first. I did finally get it today. I sold out, so I wasn't going to look at it last week. I think it came out last week. But so definitely people seem to like it. Anyway, so here we are. We start off where Superman's doing his thing, and then, oops, somehow, blam, he got shot. He's fallen to his potential doom. Chapter 1, Powerless. And then we cut to Animal Man and Animal Girl.
We're in Keystone City.
And
this was 28 hours earlier. So we're going back a little bit.
Which is your favorite way of telling stories.
Again. Let's do our time jumps.
So these are two of our heroes. I'm not super familiar with Animal Man and Animal Girl. If I recall, I think they can take on the powers of different animals. I think that's what why, how. Anyway, that doesn't matter because really the point is that they get beat up by a mob randomly in a park. And so then we cut to Gotham City, and Batman and Robin are reviewing the news reports. And then we cut to various other scenarios where various other heroes are talking about what's going on.
Yeah, they're reporting on what's going on for themselves, what they're experiencing in their cities as well. And it's not good news.
Nope. So it appears as though there's a smear campaign basically happening against all these heroes all at once. Simultaneous.
And the AI is really taking over.
Yep. Yeah. So this story definitely is touching on some current events, things that are going on right now, topics that are happening right now in the news, like AI, fake news, government manipulation of the truth, that sort of thing. And of course, who's all behind it? Amanda Waller.
No.
Yeah. It's funny that she's like the big bad in My Adventures of Superman, and she's also here. So she's getting a lot of play lately. But yeah, see, she's basically just coming in and just taking over. So she's walking in the Hall of Justice and just say, hey, this is my house now. And then she's also got I guess, the Bride of Brainiac. There was a whole Brainiac miniseries of Superman, which I didn't read, so I don't know too much about this character. But basically, it looks like she's using her as the computer component to take over all those screens, basically. And then there's Failsafe, which is, I guess, some sort of robot that actually Batman came up with to take out the Justice League if he couldn't or something like that.
Right.
And so Amanda's taking him over. There was a whole storyline where Batman had to destroy the robot, but he thought it was destroyed. But then Amanda was able to repair. He's on her side. And then she's also got, so one of Amanda's things, of course, is she'll take on supervillains and use them for the government, right? That's where you get the Suicide Squad. But now she's actually drafting others into that you would not necessarily consider to be villains. Like she's got Dreamer that she's got there. And Cyborg gets attacked by the Brainiac girl. So he's in trouble. Then it just cuts to different scenarios where the heroes are basically getting taken down. And super family, super friends, super family.
Yeah, and so now we're present where Superboy and John Kent hear something, realize what's going on, the dad going down.
Yep.
So they go to his rescue, but a little too late.
Yeah.
They realize that Superboy might also be going down also. Yep.
And you got, then it just cuts to other heroes and what they're dealing with. They're all having some trouble.
Yep, everybody's getting attacked.
Yeah, but first, and then Batman's, I should have seen this coming.
And then they say to keep on their comms, to keep on the wavelength that they're all communicating on, and that should still be safe. But there is someone who has been infiltrating all along. And so they're really not safe after all.
None other than Green Arrow.
Yep.
He's turncoat.
Yep. He's
Judas.
Yep. He says he is not one of them.
Wow.
He's on Team Waller now.
What?
So disappointed.
Say it ain't.
So she has shut down everything. She has shut down and the intergalactic, as I like to say, intergalactic. She's made sure they can't leave Earth.
Yep.
They can't have support from outside of Earth. They can't do anything. That they're sitting ducks. And the Blitzkrieg has begun.
Yeah. So, and also, she's using a version of Amazo too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the same thing with that. It's interesting. I don't know if that was done on purpose, if that's just timing or what, but of course, so this version of the Amazo tech is been upgraded, so far more powerful than it was before. And that's why they don't have the powers anymore. And then it cuts to a little preview of the next issue with John Kent, I think. Looks like he's hooked up to a machine. He's been Borgified a little bit, looks like. So I don't know what's going on there. That's crazy. So yeah, so that's the beginning of Absolute Power.
It corrupts absolutely.
Indeed it does. So we'll see what happens. So one thing I'll say is that certainly Batman has an advantage actually in this scenario because he doesn't have powers.
I don't know, but they were saying that they were taking away all their tech too.
Oh yeah, I guess they could corrupt the tech, and so he might have to go old school.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what'd you think of the Absolute Power issue 1?
I don't like Amanda Waller.
Yeah, she's just not very pleasant, is she?
No.
I guess there's a mini series that explains why she's not so pleasant.
And that's what I was going to say is what's her purpose? That's what none of this really goes into. It just seems like she's just out to just wipe everybody away that doesn't seem to have a purpose to it. But that's the piece that's missing here to me. But
that's why they get you to go and spend more money to find out why Amanda Waller is like she is.
And same thing with why they're saying that Arrow is on Team Waller doesn't make a lot of sense either. Maybe that's going to be developed more in this and kind of show what their reasoning is for going this route.
Yeah, I think so.
Not that it's going to be an acceptable reason, but just...
I think to remember, have you caught, Merrick, are you caught up with Green Arrow?
think I am.
Did you see the issue where his son like was going in to break out their mom or something like that out of his facility? You remember that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you remember in that issue, he was already on Team Waller,
Yeah.
right? But then he does a thing where he does something that allows them to escape, right? My theory is either he's double agent, you know what I mean? Like he figured he saw this coming. Amanda maybe approached him and he's like, I have two choices. I can say no and get arrested, or I can say yes and be on the inside and maybe figure out a way to help on in that side way. That's what I'm guessing, but I could be wrong. We shall see. But like I said, I think it should be interesting to see how these heroes that have all these powers all of a sudden have to figure out how to do something without them. Which I think is an interesting premise. I think it definitely could make for some interesting stories.
True.
So we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's tons of tie-ins. There's no way I'm going to be. I mean, I'll just wait to read some of the tie-ins later. But so I'll pretty much just look at probably just getting the main story. But yeah, so that's Absolute Power. So of course, Dan Morrow's doing a great job on the art. Nothing really more to say there per se. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Yeah.
That is it for this episode. I've been Jonathan.
This is Rachel.
And we have been to Talk Cafe. Tip your waitresses.